Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the country or overseas, internationally. I know that we're on social media, so you can be coming from any parts of the world. I thank you for tuning in. This is Queen F. Smothers of Ari'ze Women Network. Today is going to be a really, really deep podcast, vlog, whatever you want to call it. From time to time, I'll jump on here and give you my thoughts about the state of the world, what I'm going through, what you may be going through, and provide some solutions. You know, one of the reasons why I developed this network is it was the inspiration from Maya Angelou. Like dust I rise and still I rise, and this generate from the positivity of, in spite of what I may be going through, in spite of what you may be going through, and still you rise, and still like dust you rise. She it quoted in her in Maya Angelou's poem, "And still I rise, you may write me book in your history books with bitter twisted lies, but still like dust I rise, I rise, I rise." I know you probably saying, well, Queen F is being so positive. Don't she see what the state of the world is? Oh yeah, dear, I see what the state of the world is, and it is a whole mess. But in spite of, there is light at the end of the tunnel, I can tell you that. But I'm going to go to the streets. I'm going to come back from the streets, and then I'm going to go into my thoughts on the state of the world, and then I'm going to go into a spiritual aspect. I'm going to go back to the streets. I'm going to go back and forth. I may even throw out a curse word or two. Well, I do have my network, particular Queen F podcast is set for not for kids, so some of the language is not probably for kids, or if your ears are too heavenly bound, you may not want to hear it. But there's a saying that says, don't be so heavenly bound that you're no earthly good. And that's what it's about, being earthly good. You are no good to anyone if you are such out of reach, so heavenly conscious that you can't speak to someone on their level. There's another saying by a powerful person that said you have to meet people where they are. Sometimes you have to go to the gutter. Sometimes you have to come from a hip rap standpoint, a street cool standpoint. Sometimes you have to get the intellectual and come with big words with them. So I'm just going to kind of let it flow. This is morning time for me. It's not even quite noon. Nope, I think it's like 10:30. I'm I'm in the Midwest, so yeah. But one thing I want to share is that if you don't, people are, you're starting to see in the news where people are suffering from depression. A lot of people are committing suicide. Some people can't handle the pandemic of being shut in and not being able to go freely like they want, or covering their face. They don't want to wear masks, or they want to be able to live the life that they used to live. But you know what? That time has passed us. We must come to the realization that we're living in the midst of a plague, of a pandemic. The Bible even speaks that, plagues will come among us, and that's where we're at. So, real important that you adjust to the reality of where we are now. So with that being said, I ask everybody, please protect themselves. Wear a face mask. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do, because I come from both sides of the spectrum of being vaccinated and not wanting to be vaccinated again. I particularly had adverse effects to my my vaccination, and I won't do it again. That's just me. Very adverse effects where I couldn't walk, literally. But not to deter anyone from getting if that's what you feel comfortable, but just be aware that it's a chance that you're taking. It's a chance you're taking if you don't get V'd up. The main thing is that what they're not telling us is to protect ourselves. For instance, just on a daily basis, do some general cleaning, washing your hands really good, gargling with peroxide, mouthwash. Keep your mouth clean. I know a lot of people now know how they breath smell by now, wearing that face mask. Yeah, so the rest of us, we could smell it too. So yeah, that mask is kind of a good thing for some of us. So yeah, keep your mouth clean, because what they do know is that the virus, it will go through the mouth and the nose, so open points in your face, which is why we cover with a mask. So if you kind of protect and cover yourself prior to going out in the community and in society, gargle, like I said, peroxide is very good once a day, or for me, I do it once every other day, and make sure you kind of gargle around and hold your head down to get the opening points in your nose, to clear that out too, because the nose is where they say the virus goes. So you want to vitamin D, load up on your immune vitamins. They say zinc is good, elderberry, and just protect yourself, because it's no joke out there. People are dying from this pandemic virus, and you want to protect yourself. And so I'm hoping that there's a lot of censorship going on here with YouTube, so please get your likes up, like, subscribe to my channel, because it'll move my channel up among the YouTube feed, and more people will start to see the network, and they'll register, they'll subscribe, like, bring it up, because I'm going to be talking about some things that may not be popular among the powers that be, but we need to stay alert and be aware. To be aware is to be alive, so you want to stay knowledgeable. Okay, now, so enough about that. I'm gonna just really go street and say what I'm seeing on the internet, amongst particularly our people. I'm seeing a lot of cattiness. I'm seeing a lot of bitching. I'm seeing men making podcasts that, used to be a time where women, we gossiped a lot, but now I'm seeing the men gossiping about the celebrities, what's going on in the news. Now they talking about Snoop Dogg. These people are rich. Some of you are trying to reach that plateau, and I could say something about that. I've never been rich before, but one thing about it, what we're seeing is that the people that are rich and that are in a position of where we want to be, we're seeing that money does not solve their problems. Money does not beat depression. In fact, sometimes it adds to depression. Not to say that you don't strive to have money, have prosperity, have nice things, a car, beautiful car, houses, and things, stocks, bonds, things that will improve your lifestyle and your kids' lifestyle, put them through college or whatever. We want to shoot for those things, but we don't want that to be our ultimate goal, because we're seeing that some people are taking themselves out. There are a lot of conspiracies going around about people that have passed. They were talking about, Regina King's son is like still a mystery to some people. They don't believe that happened with the Miss USA, or Chelsea. I'm sorry, I can't remember her last name. The Miss USA, they said she committed suicide. Some people don't believe that, and there may be some speculations, some things that raised my antenna about that. But if it did happen, if she was suppressed, there's some mental illness that is like a silent killer. People are literally dying from not opening up and talking about what they're going through. They're dying from depression, isolation. not being able to go out like they want to. I know that Chelsea, Miss USA, she used to jog a lot. She kept herself in shape, but she lived in New York. And then there's one video where there was a guy following her while she was trying to go on a jog, and her assistant, they were telling him to keep walking, and he just stood there with his dog. And they filmed him, and she got very upset. She was like, go, why are you following me? So we don't know what people are going through in their elite life, in their life that we call upscale. I'm sure she was shut in, probably fearful by then, and really didn't go out as much as she wanted to exercise or jog. And then, people put on a clown face, which I don't call it. I don't mean to be rude about it, but people will smile and laugh and throw jokes and have fun, and you think they're okay, and they're not okay. Like they said, check on your happy, funny, good-go-lucky, kind, intelligent, smart people. Check on them. Because those are the people sometimes who are hiding what is really going on, who are hiding their depression, who are isolated. A lot of people are isolated because they don't want to, catch the virus, so they're not going around loved ones. A lot of elders are shut in their nursing homes or in their homes, and they're not seeing their grandkids or kids. A lower being, I know that. I really truly believe that we are lost angels here on the earth, some of us. Now, I believe some people did come from the underworld, and they are brought into your life to destroy your life, or to put it in the wrong direction. And those things like drugs put in your life to put you in the wrong direction. Like when they dropped drugs in the black community back in the 70s and 60s. It was all a plan to stunt the intelligence, the growth, and the economy of a nation of people who have done nothing but provided inventions and great things to the world. This is Black History Month. We can see where Black Americans, Black people have created inventions that, are totally used today, unmatched. Where would we be without the commode sitting on the toilet? We'd be sitting in an outhouse somewhere. Where would we be without the red stop sign? The black men that created that. Where would we be without Otis, who created the elevator? When you look in the elevator shafts and you see the name Otis, yeah, it's a black man that created the elevator shafts. We would be climbing stairs up into the sky if that man did not have the knowledge and the third eye to invent that invention, the elevator. And we're going to talk about the third eye. So yeah, as being Black History Month, we must celebrate the people that made our life easier, came to this country, brought here, whatever. black men and people that putting down black women for wearing weaves and stuff. They wore weaves back then. The men wore weaves. I'm not weaves, but wigs, back in the Egyptian days. So, but it's whatever makes you feel good to beautify yourself. That's fine, but not to idolize. Like I said, they were worshiping idols. Now we're worshiping idols. The Oscars, the Tony Awards, the Emmys, those are idols. Those little things are idols. Gold, money, worshiping people. We're worshiping celebrities. Okay, I'm gonna have to, I don't know why the light went down low. Yeah, okay. So, worshiping celebrities. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the YouTubers that get on here talking about Snoop Dogg and all these other celebrities that we keep hearing over and over in the news. Why are we spending time worrying about these people when we need to be taking care of our own business? We need to be trying to come up. So yeah, it's too much cattiness. One YouTuber against another YouTuber. One ADOS against FBA and Black First and B1. We're all against each other, and that was our mistake back in the African days. How do you think they were able to capture us? Separating. We separate the tribes. Oh, this tribe is better than that tribe. Oh, I've got more gold than you. You're gonna be my slave. No. We can't let this happen again where we separate from one another. Because if you can look and see, we're kind of like losing. We're losing in the matrix, though. I don't think we're losing spiritually, because there are prayer warriors out there that are praying for you, for the world, for the new universe that's gonna come, and back to losing loved ones or losing or grandma. I was saying Grandma Lulu and Auntie Lulu, whatever, we can't forget about those people. Those people helped us. And I'm going to tell you now, I had a praying mother and a praying grandmother. I got abducted when I was 16 years old. And I'm not talking about somebody I knew or, it was just an hour thing. It was an all day and night thing. I could have died. And this person brought me back, let me go. To a destination of, I gave him, he was I guess trying to figure out what he would do. Something hit him and told him to bring me back to where he picked me up from. And it's only because I had a praying grandmother, as Helen Bailey would say. I had a praying mama, and guess what? Those women had the third eye. They had the spiritual gifts, and it was passed on to me and my loved ones and my family members. Now, all of us are given spiritual gifts when we're born. But the weight of the world, the enemy will hinder those spiritual gifts. Drunkenness, alcohol, and it's okay to drink, a little wine or whatever here, there, a beer here and there, but drunkenness will stunt that, get rid of it. Drugs will get rid of it. It'll heighten it, but it'll get rid of it if we're not spiritually aligned. You have to stay within a positive spiritual lane. You have to avoid the enemy. Now, true enough, some of us get caught up in drugs and alcohol. Okay, it happened to me when I was younger. I always say my kids saved my life. My two sons were like angels put here to really save my life. But the enemy is always busy. He's always trying to kill, steal, and destroy. And I'm just so glad that I have the gift of prayer, of knowledge, of the third eye. And that third eye, I'm going to speak a little bit about that because we've got to learn about spiritual gifts. Because in this world, the devil, the enemy, is not playing with us. It ain't playing. Whatever it is, ain't playing. He wanted to take us out. We're still here. because somebody prayed for us, because we use the spiritual gifts to pray for ourselves, because there is angels stationed around us. Everybody's given an archangel, not an archangel, but an angel who protects them. We have to open ourselves up to positive vibrations. Get rid of the low vibrations, get rid of the gossiping, envy, hate, and we all kind of fall into that sometime. Sometimes I do sit back and I be like, man, that person sure got it. Why I don't have what they have? I'm doing all the right things. I've done things in my life. I've done, where I had a telecast on Chicago Access Network where I featured a spiritual prophetess that was preaching and stuff like that, and I filmed them, and I've done things. I've taught drama into Chicago high schools, grammar schools, and given of my time and done things. And sometimes you sit back and be like, well, why is life so hard for me? But you know what? We're still here. We're still here. We got prayed up. We prayed for ourselves. We got with positive people, and we're gonna try to stay on that path. I'm gonna tell you now, though, the enemy wants to kill, steal, and destroy our kids, our loved ones, people around us, any way he can affect us. And it's usually with the people closest to us. So you got to be now that praying grandmother and grandfather and uncle and auntie and niece and nephew. You got to be that praying that person up. When you at night sit up and pray about your entire family. Okay, about loved ones or people, even celebrities. Celebrities are people too. They just made it big. They just caught a good break. They just got with the right momentum. They sacrifice. They have passion. Some people seeking the wrong things. Money is not going to make them happy. The money is not going to be the solution to their lives. You can ask Steve Jobs about that. He was a millionaire. He created the Apple phone. But he died with pancreatic cancer. And it's like all the money he had couldn't save him. It didn't save his life. So. It's about it's vibrating on a higher vibration, not being a glutton, not just focusing on food, your entree, your steaks, and going out to these lavish restaurants. That's nice and good, but yeah, then you got to deal with your colon, keep your colon clean, I'm a meat person, so I ain't gonna say don't eat no meat. I just love meat, but I don't eat meat, just with every meal, or, I do eat vegetables and stuff like that. Balance it out, and your green machine, your juice, garlic. So, but the thing is, don't be a glutton with food. Don't make that be your higher power. Don't let money be your higher power. Don't let chasing after your dream be your higher power, because then you're not enjoying the journey. Life is just a journey. You can ask people like Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey. I mean, it's like if money they got the money, okay, it's kind of like, now what? Then you just go on to other passions and you try to help other people, but it's still not the ultimate goal, But yeah, back to using that third eye. Because we've got to be aware that the enemy, like I said, wants to kill, steal, and destroy us and our loved ones. So tap into your spiritual gifts. If you get a thought about a loved one, call that person. Get on the phone literally and call them. It's too much texting going around. It's like nonverbal communication. That originally was designed for deaf people who couldn't hear. Texting, SMS. It's not just for you to just be texting and not reaching out to people, because then people are not communicating. That causes depression and isolation also. Go around your family members. My nephew recently visited me and we talked for like an hour, and he was like, I'm really glad I came out. And I was like, I'm glad you came out too and talked to me. We need that communication face to face. That's why this pandemic, this virus is a bit because it is set up to separate us, as people, as relatives, as a community. Remember all those people that were out at marching in like 2000, was it 2020, when George Floyd got that, that incident happened? Do you remember when the news captured all the people that were marching in different cities? That was like a bonding, people of all nationality. See, what you got to know is that the enemy is not just a person, a person with a different color. It's colorless. There are good people in every nationality. There are bad people in every nationality too. So this racial thing, that's another thing that separates us. True enough, we got people that don't want to see some races make it or achieve or be successful, but that's still a ploy of the enemy. They're being used by the enemy, so don't buy into that, but be aware that we are an oppressed people. We're trying to reach where we can have nice things and be able to just live comfortably. Somebody told me once, a month, doing really good. I'm not monitoring. It was that Denzel Washington said in American Guys, your had a young man that helped me, Bill Olsen, and then it was a lot of work. Then I had another person from the studio helping me, but then then the person said, okay, if you wanted actually me to edit your documentary, it costs X amount of dollars. It was like $3,000. I was like, okay, I don't have $3,000. So guess what? I learned how to use the software and I did my own documentary. See, we got to stop waiting on people to do things for us. If you poor, you can't pay nobody to do something. You got to do it anyway. So you might as well learn how to do it. It's just like these jobs that we have. We got these jobs that, you know what, something happened, they setting your chair out before you could look up, and they hiring somebody else. Okay, go ahead and die and see what happens with your job. They gonna maybe miss you, but they'll have someone in your position in a matter of minutes. So giving your lifetime to these jobs is a no-no. People are working today 67 years, 70 years old, dying at 72. I mean, when did you get a chance to enjoy your life? Retirement age, I think, is 70 now. They're trying to raise it up to 74. They don't even want to pay people all the years that they work on these jobs. Don't even want to compensate people. Let them enjoy the rest of their retirement years. One of my relatives told me one of our relatives worked at this job for like 45 years, and he was ready to retire, and his employer begged him to stay for one more year. He was just, give me one more year. Guy wanted to retire, but he stayed another year, and guess what? He died that same year. He didn't even get a chance to enjoy his retirement. So yeah, that we want. Go to a music playlist, but what I'm going to create Rising Conscious, where we'll talk more about consciousness, the third eye, fifth dimension, and things of that nature, because that's kind of like the direction I'm at now. This is the direction of where the universe is now. Remember the movie The Matrix? Yeah, it's real. Sophia Stewart, who is the real oracle of The Matrix, not The Matrix, but of the movies. The Matrix, The Terminator, Matrix Resurrection, is a black woman named Sophia Stewart who wrote these movies in a book, like in the 80s when she was in California, and she worked at one of the, I think, Warner Brothers studio. She's a real oracle. You know, because like I said, the spiritual gifts people have, she's one of the people that have the spiritual gifts. So she's a prophetess, which means she saw in the future. And a lot of us have that, you know, where we see in the future. Some people shrug it off. But if you keep having repeated dreams and repeated visions, it is a vision, and it's a sign that you are a chosen one. You have a higher consciousness. And I have that too. I'm not going to go into it, but sometimes it's a blessing and it's a curse, because you see things that you really don't want to see, you know. But anyway, it's good though, because it'll alert you too. But one of the signs that you are a chosen one is you came to the universe with your first eye open. And we're going to talk about the third eye. The third eye is really like an eye that is spiritual. It's not an actual third eye. My mother used to say, and it's going to be in the movie, documentary that I'm writing called Greenwood Mama Story. My mom used to say things like, because me and my sister, we always get into some little trouble, you know, as kids. You know how you doing little catty things in the house and leave me alone, or, you know, she hit me. And mom would be in the kitchen, and one day she said, you know, I got eyes in the back of my head. And then from that time, me and my sister, we were scared of my mom. We was like, well, she's got eyes. And we would try to see. She had a whole crop. My mother had a lot of hair, really pretty black hair, and we would try to look in her hair to see if she had eye in the back of her head. But she was really talking about spiritually. She could see without actually seeing. So that's what the third eye is. It's not an actual eye. It is an eye that you're born with. And actually the third eye is the first eye. You know, it's a baby, you know, it's an infant, rather, embryo. You're in your mother's womb, and then, you know, the hands and the eyes start to form. But that third eye is the first eye that forms. That eye is all seeing. It sees through everything. It sees through the BS too that people try to throw your way. The news, the fake stories. You know how you watching the news, you like, now I know that's not true. Like they keep talking about I ain't gonna say it because they may put me way down in the feed. Yeah, so you see what most people don't. You know, like for instance, I can see a news story and it'll be something sad, like, you know, a guy that his wife was found dead or whatever, the husband, and he's on the news talking about, I whatever, you know, I didn't I don't know, one day she just wasn't there. And then I can look and see whether the person's telling the truth or not. I'd be like, okay, I hope they get it, because one thing about it, you have to still prove. You can't go to the police or whatever and say, well, this person lied. You have to prove that they're lying. So that's where the spiritual gifts really don't work. I mean, they work, but you know, you can't like just solve crimes like that, because you have to have actual proof. But you know, And that goes for the women too. If I see that a woman actually took her mate out, I can see it when she's on the news. So the video really hurts some people. They just don't know it. Why they looking in the camera or trying to look away. You're lying, you're lying, you're lying. The news and fake stories, you see what most people don't, which is you have this gift of clairvoyance, which is clear sight. Clear audience is like clear hearing. You can hear frequencies other beings can't. For instance, if you got a ringing, constant ringing in your ears, which I have that too, that's clear audience. Sometimes it could be that you have tinnitus, but you'll know if it's clear audience if you have the clairvoyance with it. If you can actually dream things and know, or you've seen heaven, or you've seen things that happen and then they happen afterwards. But the clear audience, it's usually a ringing in your ear, constant ringing. It could be very annoying because it's very annoying because it's ringing out constant. It never stops. So a lot of people have that, but yeah, the third eye, it can't necessarily stop something from happening. You know that it's gonna happen, or that if I change this way that I'm living, I'll have a better outcome. So you could be your own worst enemy if you clearly know it's something you're doing that can help you in your health, in your life, like you're using drugs or whatever, or you are drinking hard liquor constantly, and you'll have a bad ulcer or whatever, a bad liver, and that you'll die. If you just don't stop doing it, then you're just gonna die. So it doesn't help if you a clean and died from drugs, young ages. Man, I have a sister, that was she was domestically abused, and then she had a drug habit and she died. And really smoking cigarettes, which is a low vibration. A lot of things are low vibrations and we don't know it. It brings down or suffocates your spiritual gift. If you could stop smoking cigarettes, please stop, because one of my loved ones, my sister, died from that, and it's a low vibration. If you're drinking hard alcohol, I know they got the different celebrities, on the commercials, advertising, and then they got the verses and all of that, and you got the alcohol sitting on the table, and it's fun. Sure, it's funny when you drinking and you kind of giddy and guards down and all that, but you don't overload. Don't overdo it. Don't become an alcoholic. If you do, go into a 12-step program. Do what you got to do, because people losing their lives out here, either from drunk driving, or you killing yourself, from drunk driving, or killing someone else, or you misusing your loved one, abusing them, and then waking up the next morning not remembering what the heck happened. They had a blackout or whatever. People are snapping out on each other. Low vibrations. We're living and going into the fifth dimension. We're in the third dimension, which is, if you see the movie The Matrix, she kind of gives you the idea about, how the Matrix works. We're in a third dimension type, but now we're moving universally into a fifth dimension, where you're gonna see things that you normally wouldn't see in the third dimension. And one example of that is with Facebook. Facebook is now metaverse. Hello, it's a virtual. I haven't been there. I haven't gotten that far into. Some people say they went into the metaverse, but you're supposed to virtually see things, and then they got those gargle glasses that came out a couple of years ago, where you could virtually see things, in like a fifth dimension. So we're really going into the fifth dimension right now. And with the fifth dimension, it's hard to say, because there's some things that I saw when I was even younger that's happening now. So I've been in the fifth dimension, seeing visually, living it, not living it, but seeing it, like just in a dream. I saw the floods. There's going to be more floods. But yeah, so all I can say is protect your peace, protect your space, protect your spiritual gifts. Time out from living with a low vibration. Gambling could be considered a low vibration, but we got to do something, I know, that makes us happy. It's okay to have wine every now and then, glass of wine, couple of beers, whatever. We got the Super Bowl coming up, and it's okay to have fun and enjoy life. I don't think God meant for us just to be sitting up like, oh, holier than thou. He wants us to enjoy life, but he wants us to be responsible. He wants us to alert other people to what's headed, where we're headed. This world, this earth is not it. It's just, just a little place that we're down here playing. I always say, look how the world is made, and look how, the earth is round like a ball, then we got the other Mars and things like that. It's like God's playground. He could just be wanting to see if you're going to make the right choices and be part of the real world, And so we're supposed to not be so serious. Enjoy life. Enjoy life. Have fun. Smile. I see people doing, a YouTube cast and they don't even smile. It's okay. I love to look at YouTubers and they make jokes, so they, have fun. Life is just meant to be, kind of enjoy it, but spiritually get on the right path. That's my word for today. Get on the right path, because we're going into the fifth dimension. Facebook, guard. Make that person lost. They in between the next dimension because they want to stay. If they keep seeing us grieving hard, they see us crying and stuff, and they be wanting to stay, but they can't get stuck because they can't do nothing if they stuck. If you an angel and you stuck between heaven and earth, it's just so much you can't use your spiritual gifts like you would if you were a heavenly being. So yeah, that's what I just want to share. I want you guys to share my page, Ari'ze Women Network, Queen F Speaks. I'm gonna shorten it to just Neff. I'm just Neff. I'm not trying to be the queen like queen, being better than somebody. It's just the way I feel, is being the spiritual person that I am, the knowledge that I have, the gifts that I have shared and will continue to share. I'm a queen in my own right, and you're a queen and king in your own right. You're a god, you're a goddess. You just don't know your power. See, God left us spiritual gifts, so we're not tapping into it. He said, greater shall you do those things than greater. Let's shorten it. Let's be simple. One of the simplest scriptures is, greater is he in you than you that's in the world. Greater is he in you than he that is in the world. So greater is God in you than the people that are in the world. But he's given us some power to use that power. He not gonna come down here and do everything for us. You got the power to heal. You got the power to pray for your loved one. You got the power to become successful. You got the power to own your own business. You got the power to rise out of the situation that you're in. Some of us stay in situations because we really like playing victim. Quit playing victim. Quit playing codependent. It's getting you nowhere but depressed. Come out of that situation. Own your power. Come up out of that powerlessness and helplessness. Because one thing about powerlessness and helplessness, it seems kind of cute in the beginning, and it seems I'm a little helpless. But that's the shit that lead people to be depressed and then take themselves out. That's the thing that causes people to commit suicide. When you feel like you're helpless and hopeless, that's lead. Literally, because you like, I ain't got to stay in this. Oh, hell no. Excuse me, let me shape this. I ain't got to stay in this situation. I ain't got to live in this city. We're in a whole country. You can live in any part of the country that you want to. How many states? What is it, 52 states? If you're not happy where you are, pick up and go somewhere else. I'm going to leave this with you. I remember my brother who just passed in November. And I used to always tell him, brother, if you're not happy, you should move, And he's like, oh, I don't want to move. He was older. He was 71 years old. And he was tired of moving around. He loved all his furniture and nice things. And my sister said, he got some really nice furniture. She recently visited him. And I remember when I visited him a few years ago, he had really nice stuff. Furniture, old memos from when we were little and stuff like that. And I understand holding on to things. And it takes things to accomplish. Takes time when we get that furniture and this and that and the car and stuff. We don't want to lose those things. But I remember telling him, brother, I read somewhere, no one ever saw a U-Haul behind a hearse. You can't take none of this stuff with you. You tell all these celebrities that lost their lives and rich people, wealthy people, you tell Steve Jobs that, okay? You tell him he can take all what he accomplish and find things with him. Somebody's gonna get it. It's either gonna get buried like back the Egyptian days. They buried all their gold and stuff with them. Now they digging up trying to get all that stuff and finding it. You can't take that stuff with you. Somebody else is gonna get it, inherit it or whatever, and it's fine. You want to inherit it to your kids, that's good, but you can't take it with you. So let it go. And last year he lost his life and none of that he could take with him. And I learned a really deep lesson with that. I'm like, if it's time to make a move, make a move. It's time for you to start a new life, start all over again. Like my sister said, it'd be fun buying new stuff all over again. If you got to make a move, some people went on a hunch, followed their passion and moved to Hollywood and made it big. They had nothing. Loaded up their car, got in their car, and pursued their dream and made it. But like I said, it ain't about celebrity-isms and getting all tied up into that. Those are icons. Remember those icons that and idols they had in the biblical days in Egypt and stuff that people worship? They paid a price for that. Stop worshiping idols and icons of celebrities, and then they cast celebrities or the same celebrities in different movies. You got 100,000 actors, black actors or actresses, and you pick only 2 or 3 to play the lead role in all the movies. Enough of that. I'm going to create my own movies. I'm going to hire these actors that are being put on the back burner. So yeah, that's what it's about though. Vibrating on a high vibration, using your spiritual gifts, come out of your rut, come out of your depression. People taking their lives over because they depressed, and I'm sure that, like I said, the pandemic, it depresses people. You shut in the house. Sometimes I'm depressed, but I get up out of it. I turn on some inspirational music, and it could be some fiery, like Tone. Check out the Box CD by Tone. Came out in 2003. Bad CD. It will lift you up. Turn on a Relax and Rejuvenate on the Rise Woman Network. It's just a 6-minute music video, but it will empower and lift you up. Like my sister says, something what I'm touching, like my shea butter, is healing people with eczema. If I have a pain in my body, I use my own product, and it helps me. Sometimes people touch things and it'll bless you. Turn out and Relax and Rejuvenate on a few videos before this on the Rise Woman Network. It will empower you because it empowered me. Music that from the YouTube library. It's royalty free music. I'm not taking nobody's music, but it's a 6-minute video that will inspire and just give you some vitality, because sometimes we need to be rejuvenated. We get bogged down by the world and the cares of the world and paying bills and wearing a mask and worrying if we're going to catch COVID, or catching COVID, getting over COVID, getting back, trying to get back in the workforce and taking care of our kids and dealing with crazy loved ones, dealing with alcoholics and attitudes and family members and friends, and sometimes you get bogged down. Put on some background music or some rejuvenation music, inspirational music, and get up out that rough, because the enemy ain't playing. He want to take you out. He want to take all of us out, because he know his time is limited, so but it's all good though. Like I said, get out these streets with the YouTube gossip videos and the celebrity, because the trick of the enemy is he want to also I'll listen to them. and what they were trying to tell you. They don't really care about us. Look up Agenda 21. Look up depopulation. But guess what? The enemy's still defeated. Don't let fear stop you from reading and still accomplishing and doing things. Because the tactic of the enemy is to kill, steal, and destroy. But you got to keep living. You got to keep hopeful. Excuse me, I hate to do that. That's a nervous tick messing with my hair. But you got to stay hopeful. Don't be helpless. Don't be a victim. And stop this, the white man thing and the man and the oppressed, what they say, the white supremacy. I'm so tired of that damn terminology. You better look up your history and look up biblical things. Everything about, I think some of the Bible been kind of messed with. You better look up the power that you have. You're the supreme being. You better tap into that supremacy, into those spiritual gifts. Call those things as though they are not. You better do your own healing. You better work on you. Stop vibrating on a low vibration. Vibrate on a high vibration. Use that third eye. Use those spiritual gifts. Do those things to get closer and align to your chakras and to the direction of where God wants you to go. And stay positive. And like Maya Angelou says, you may write me down in your history books with your bitter, twisted lies, but still, like dust, I rise. I rise. I arise. Arise. Thank you, and be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video, and donate if you like to. This definitely will help my channel. You can donate to Cash App me at Queen F Ari'ze, the number 3. Cash App Queen F Ari'ze, number 3. Thank you for joining. Stay positive, smile, have fun, enjoy the Super Bowl. Happy Valentine's Day, but stay on top of what's going on. What's going on. Use your third eye. And stay positive, use your spiritual gifts, and stay prayed up and pray for others. Thank you, and you be blessed.